Ellie was 8 years old when she found the book that changed everything. It was buried behind a radiator in her grandmother's attic, dusty, leather-bound, and untitled. The cover felt warm, almost alive. When she opened it, the pages reeked of smoke and moss. And on the very first page, scrawled in dark red ink, "They built their houses to trap you." Inside were grotesque sketches of snarling, monstrous pigs and children screaming in fear. It was a story. She thought she knew the three little pigs, but told differently, terrifyingly. That night, under her blanket, Ellie read it front to back. The pigs weren't cute or clever. They were hunters. The first pig wasn't lazy. He was hungry. According to the book, he rose from the ashes of a burned wheat field, a yellow-skinned beast with dry, cracking flesh and ember-like eyes. His breath scorched the ground. His house of straw wasn't shelter, it was bait. He waited silently for wandering children to come too close. Straw whispered in the wind, luring them inside with warmth and innocence. But once the door closed, the house ignited and the screams were never heard again. The second pig, made of bones and brambles, lived in a crooked forest. His limbs bent backwards, and his eyes were too many and too black. He built his house from sticks, but not from trees. The book implied these were sharpened bones, bound with sinew. He was cunning. He spoke in riddles, lured in pairs of children playing games in the woods. One would vanish. The other would hear the knocking. Tap, 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 tap. Those who answered never returned. Only one clue remained, scratched into the dirt near the house. What is made of blood and laughs when you scream? The third pig didn't hunt. He built. His brick house wasn't for safety. It was a prison. Inside were corridors of nightmare, rooms mimicking children's fairy tales but twisted. A red-cloaked girl with her mouth sewn shut. A boy forced to eat breadcrumbs made of bone. A talking mirror that showed the moment of your death. He lured children with signs that read, "Story time this way." They entered, popcorn in hand, smiling. The door never opened again. Ellie dropped the book. Her room felt colder, the shadows longer. She wrapped herself in a blanket and tried to forget. But that night, she heard the knock. Tap, tap. Not at the door, not at the wall. At her window, a slow, deliberate rhythm. When she peeked, she saw them. Not cartoon pigs, not storybook swine, but monstrous boars, foam-drenched mouths, tusks like blades, white eyes that glowed, watching. Breda, Ellie's grandmother, burst into her room carrying a jar of ash and a string of teeth. She pulled Ellie away from the window and slammed it shut. "They found you," she whispered. "You finished the book. That's how they find you," Breda explained. The pigs weren't just monsters. They were stories living, hunting stories that fed on fear, especially from children. Long ago, people knew this. That's why the tales were told over fires, not screens. That's why versions changed to protect listeners. The real stories were too dangerous to remember. "They're not pigs," Breda said. "They're the hunger between stories, the shadows behind bedtime." She painted runes on the floor and told Ellie not to step outside the circle, not even if she heard her mother S's voice. "They mimic love. They mimic home." Outside, the voice called softly, "Ellie, it's me, ... I brought your favorite popcorn." Days passed. The pigs disappeared. Then, one fog-choked night, Ellie smelled something familiar. Butter and sugar, popcorn. She followed the scent past hollow trees and crooked roads, where streetlights blinked like dying fireflies. And there it stood, a house made entirely of popcorn, golden, glowing, warm. A movie night dream come true. The door opened. Inside, soft carpeting, flickering lights, the sound of cartoons and lullabies. Ellie stepped in and felt her foot stick. The popcorn melted beneath her. It hissed. The walls pulsed like breathing skin. She screamed, and the pigs stepped out of the shadows. They had never truly left. The pig of straw smelled of smoke and rust. The pig of sticks creaked as he smiled. The pig of bricks dragged a sack that squirmed. They didn't rush. They surrounded her. They enjoyed the fear. Ellie screamed louder, and then boom. Smoke, wind, teeth. Breda crashed into the house, her cloak flying, chanting in a language that no longer had an alphabet. She threw ash into the pigs' eyes. She shouted their true names. Names even they had forgotten. The pigs howled, their bodies unraveling into black smoke and parchment scraps. But the cost was high. Breda collapsed in Ellie's arms, whispering with her final breath, "They're not gone, only trapped." For now, in memory, in stories, in every book that scares a child just a little too much. Ellie survived. She never spoke of what happened, but she kept the book now bound in newer leather. Its title changed, illustrations soft. Sometimes, when she saw kids watching cartoon versions of the Three Little Pigs, she'd smile a sad smile. They don't know, she'd think. Not yet. She became a librarian. She taught children to knock twice on the shelf before picking a story, just in case. Because stories live, and if you open the wrong one, if you read too far, they remember. Epilogue. And now, so do you now? You know the truth? You read the tale, you remember. So tonight, before you sleep, knock twice on your wall. And whatever you do, don't answer the pigs when they call.